Hi, my name is Joshua and I'm from Group Sorority. My group members are Kasim, Casey, Michelle and Matthew. So regarding of why we choose this topic on how social networking affects teenager lifestyle is because that this topic is quite new now in the research. So researchers who have done this research usually haven't get to the bottom of it because it's still new. So, and it's also interesting to know that, to find out that because now social networking sites are getting more and more popular, so it's quite interesting to know that actually why teenagers are exploring the site, are going into the site more often than usually they go out.
Okay, now we'll start with introduction. What is social networking? Social networking is a practice of expanding the number of one's business and or social contacts by making connections through individuals. Social networking in person means a specific group of people such as small societies or neighborhood communities. And social networking in places is such as offices or schools in the online websites. The types of social media are social networking, bookmarking sites, social news, media sharing, microblogging, and blog comments and forums. This shows that social networking is part of social media. The differences between social media and social networking are social media normally used to provide information for the public. However, social networking usually allow people to communicate and build relationships through social networking sites. And social media is a channel for the people to communicate, such as the radio, television, and so on. However, social networking give and take communication also, and it is also known as two-way communication. The advantages for social networking is researchers can use the social networking site to start their related studies. And organizations can use social networking sites to promote their events or projects and get feedbacks from the people so that they can work more on their projects or events. And social networking also allow people to share their interests with their friends. The disadvantages for social networking will be either social media or social networking will lower the children's exam grades, and the teenagers will also learn the bad things from the internet.
Okay, now we come down to the literature review parts. This is the first journal I'm going to say is Boyd Dana by 2007. His research is only concerned between teenagers between age 15 to 17. His research is about how teenagers show their identity through social networking profile, and teenagers like to hide their identity use fake identity on the Facebook, on social networking sites like Facebook, Twitter, all those stuff. According to researcher Boyd Dana, this will cause teenagers to actually become introvert because they become shy, and because they're using false identity, so they're not using their real identity to interact through social media sites, so they're going to be a bit shy and in public. Okay, so the next researcher we're going to say is is by Linhart, Madden, and Rankin Smith, also 2007. This research study is on examining on how and why people are using social networking sites. Social networking sites they provide a space for the teenagers to show their courage, which direct communication does not provide. So they might be using internet social networking sites in their house, and they feel a little bit comfortable with their own space in their house. So they will also, same like the previous researcher, they also don't like to go out. Okay, so teenagers rather just log on to social networking site to communicate with friends rather than go out physically to meet them. This is a big cause of laziness and will cause the teenager to be lazy. Okay. Now for the third journal, we have Livingstone Sonia by 2008. Her studies of teenager usage in social networking sites for intimacy, their privacy, and self-expression. This study, on her study, shows that 32% of online users aged between 16 to 24 years old use social networking sites at least last monthly. It also shows that teenagers express their feelings or personal experience through social networking sites. They also don't have the courage to express their feelings in the public, so they resort to social networking sites. This is also same as the previous researcher, so the topic is actually somehow related, and these are all journals that actually prove that the teenager don't like to go out, and rather stay in the house and just resort to social networking sites. Lastly, we come to Mary Wilkes. Her studies on online social networking and the internet communication now are becoming widely more popular with the adolescents and young adults. These journals are concerning adults and young adults. So, in this research, relationship in network might even help isolate youth to feel more included. So it means that the adolescents might use internet to, for example, social networking sites like Facebook, to make them feel like they are more needed, or something that you can communicate with other people. So the second is friendship formed online are more often shallow, casual, and short-lived. So it means that friendship that are formed through online are mostly cannot lasting. The third one is online social networking sites that have impacts on adolescents' relationship. So means that also same as the previous one, relationship don't last long through internet. So here now come to the end of the literature review.
Okay, now I would like to talk about the significance. For researchers, this research is significant so that you assist future research. And furthermore, it adds to the knowledge of past researchers. Due to the enhancement of technology, results now vary and can be obtained easily. For the government will be interested in our research because we have done a clear survey by doing interviews on teenagers in our campus to obtain our results. They would be interested in our research as they are able to obtain information for our survey so that they can do something to avoid addiction to social networking sites. For parents, our parents would also be interested in finding the reasons and ways to why teenagers are addicted to social networking.
Okay, now we come down to the part that is objectivity. The objectivity is to study the impact social networking has on teenagers. This is what objectivity is about. We also investigated how social networking sites can lead teenagers to tend to develop antisocial behavior. In other words, I will describe this as introvert. Why teenagers are so into social networking sites? Because it's a modern communication, it's more convenient for them. We also discovered that teenagers who use social networking tend to have secret identity, like sex predators, like what they have today has, developed secret identity to prey on users on the social networking site. Okay, now gender objectivity. How does the social networking influence the youth? Okay, let me tell you how it influences you. Okay, influence you such as you tend to like it because it's a kind of a trend for people. And also social networking is a primary source for communication for teenagers, in colleges and all that. Okay, specific objectivity. Okay, this is the research that we have done. We have comparison between male and females. Okay, we take a group of male and take a group of female. Okay, we tend to find that male tend to display personal information of themselves than female. They tend to put their age, their identities about them. And then female tend to display personal pictures, they tend to post pictures, that it could be quite privacy, there's not so private about them, but they tend to do that. Okay, now I'll go on to the research question. Why does social networking influence the life of many people, especially teenagers? Okay, because it is a modern form of communication, like I mentioned earlier, and you need to do it just to get a profile. All you need to do is just get a profile, You post stuff such as videos, pictures, you can even comment about somebody and you're good to go. Okay, my second research question is that why is social networking important to teenagers these days, or you can say nowadays? This is important because it enhances communication, yeah. Because back then we didn't have technology, so for now communication is much more easier. They can talk about various stuff, you know. You can talk about studies, you can do that in colleges, entertainment, clubs, sports, anything like that, news. And then my last research question is this: why does teenagers express themselves using social networking sites? Why do they feel comfortable to expressing to themselves? Okay, teenagers can freely express their feelings on social networking sites because they have their own private space. You know, you can communicate with a person, you can tell them how you feel. You know, you don't, because you're not actually meeting the person face to face. They don't have the courage to express publicly, so they resort to social networking. Yeah, so they prefer to do social networking sites. You know, because you don't have no feelings attached. Okay, and that is about it of my presentation.
Okay, here's the methodology. The study is conducted using a qualitative method and it's an open-ended individual question involving small population of 60 teenagers, ages range between 13 to 18 years old, half are boys and half are girls. With an equal number of Malay, Chinese and Indian at Taylor's University, Lakeside campus. Why teenagers? The population used for our research are teenagers because based on our previous research, it was found that social networking sites are more popular among teenagers compared to adults. Okay, why 16 teenagers? We pick a sample size of 60 teenagers because we think that it's a suitable amount for our research. An unstructured interview and stratified sampling were used, and we think it's the right sample for our study because it guarantees a balanced sample, provides greater precision, and requires only small samples, which saves money. Interviewing are research instruments we use in conducting this research, and one of the many interview questions is how teenagers use social networking sites and the purpose of using it. Okay, that's the end of our presentation. Thank you.